There's also an issue of staffing all of this up and how we do this when not only is there a maturity mismatch, but also potentially a skills mismatch. And I know that your state has been significantly affected by some of the DOGE cuts, and you've talked about that and how you plan to provide for some of these workers. But how do you reskill people to work for different types of jobs, given that they've worked in a very specific field and there might not be jobs in that field, and what we're trying to build up hasn't been there for a long time?
Well, first, you go to work and prepare an education and training ecosystem to do exactly that. And we've been doing this for the last 3 years in Virginia, which is resetting the career paths and the education paths for lots of Virginians with opportunity. And today we have an incredibly high labor participation rate. It's bounced back from lows during the pandemic and the previous administration to near one of the national highs. We have one of the best workforce training programs in America. We were just named for the 3rd year in a row of having the best customized job training program in America. This is what you do. You go to work. I do think that the expectation that there will be job losses, particularly out of the federal government, is real. We haven't seen them yet that much in Virginia. I mean, our first-time claims and unemployment are still at historic lows. But listen, I do think that the federal government's downsizing is necessary. Listen, we're at $37.5 trillion of debt, $2 trillion a year of incremental debt. We can't do that. And so resizing the federal government and recognizing fiscal responsibility is critical to the future of the country is real. What does that mean in a state like Virginia? We have a lot of federal workers. A lot. Now, a disproportionate amount of those are in the defense and in the intelligence and national security area, and we're seeing more money go into those areas. But I still expect that there will be real disruption for some folks in Virginia. My dad lost his job twice when I was growing up, and I've seen this in families of my own, and it is really hard. And that's why a pathway to a new career is so important. Because of our economic growth, we have 250,000 open but unfilled jobs in Virginia. And over 100,000 of those require a bachelor's degree. These are good jobs, but they're also jobs that pay well. And so opening up that pathway to folks who find themselves with job loss is really, really important. And so we launched something called Virginia Has Jobs. And it's for folks to get jobs in Virginia from all over the country. But at a time when we're seeing this dislocation from the federal government, it's a real opportunity pathway. 250,000 jobs. Pathways for training, coaching, resume writing, but also for making sure folks know how to file for unemployment and keep their health care. This is a pathway that I'm really hoping that people who do have job disruption can find a way to a great career in Virginia, because Virginia has lots and lots of jobs, and people can go to virginiahasjobs.com and actually find one. And that's part of, I think, this movement of really public sector employment to private sector employment. And we've seen it in Virginia. We've had great job growth over the last 3 years. It's led to record surplus after surplus after surplus, which has allowed us to reduce taxes. It's allowed us to invest in education and in law enforcement. And by the way, in economic development and job training. But it's also, I think, changed people's view of long-term in Virginia. We used to have, for 10 years, we had more people move away from the Commonwealth of Virginia than move into from the other 49 states. And last year, we became one of the top importers of talent in America. So this works. And at a time when President Trump, again, is trying to run a very, very full policy agenda, resetting trade, balancing the federal budget, making America dominant again in energy, reshoring manufacturing, and restoring this middle class, which has been eviscerated over the last 20 years, and doing all of that while deregulating to make America even a better place for business. I think we can look at Virginia and say, hey, we've seen at least a little microcosm of that, and it works.